Hi, I'm Spiders, and take a look at this demonstration of ping compensation. Ping compensation changes the way you parry attacks, which is a fundamental aspect of PvP. As you can see in this demo, ping compensation pretty much just delays the actual hit from an attack being inflicted on you, with greater intensity depending on how high your ping is. Whether or not this is good sounds like it will be pretty simple, right? Delayed attacks equals more time to react equals easier to parry equals ping compensation should always be used. But the actual impacts of this delayed hit effect are much greater than simply just delaying hits on you, so this isn't always the case. Let me explain. Take a look at this example here. As you can see, even though I'm blocking, his revenge still manages to mysteriously hit me in this situation. Why is that? Well, it's not because I let go of F and stopped blocking, as you can see from the shaky block indicator here. This is actually a consequence of ping compensation. Normally, the way revenge works is that when you use revenge, first your revenge hits and does damage, and then you teleport after. However, with ping compensation on, the actual hit is slightly delayed. However, with a fast monster like revenge, this delay is long enough to switch the order of events, and instead my opponent first teleports and then the attack lands shortly after. This allows my opponent's revenge to bypass my block, since the game registers that my opponent is behind me, and since you can only block in front of where you're looking, my opponent bypasses my block every time. This is one of many unusual interactions that occur from ping compensation, and in this case, this really hurts the ping compensation user. On the other side, ping compensation can also be pretty helpful for the ping compensation user as well. The obvious impact is that it gives you more time to parry, which is definitely a good thing. Besides that though, there are also some other weird interactions similarly to the revenge one showcased earlier, except most of the time they're actually helpful for the ping compensation user. For example, take a look at this interaction with Radiant Kick. Here, I'm using ping compensation, and it's so good that when my opponent uses Radiant Kick on me, I'm able to hit them first, and then have enough time to parry the Radiant Kick after, making my opponent's usage of Radiant Kick good for me instead of good for them. Here's another weird interaction with ping compensation. Since both of these players have ping compensation on, they're able to both hit each other during the window where their hit is going to happen, but is delayed from ping compensation. If one of these players didn't have ping compensation on, they would be hit first and have their attack nullified. So since both players have ping compensation on, it evened out. The overall takeaway from these demonstrations of ping compensation is that there are some pretty weird interactions / bugs from ping compensation, and some are good for you and some are bad for you. Now that you've seen ping compensation in action, the question arrives, should you or should you not use ping compensation, given the benefits and the cons of it? My answer to that is yes, and pretty much always yes. Even though there are some interactions where it's bad for you, as shown in the first example with revenge, an overwhelming majority of the time will be helpful for you, since it's helpful basically every time you parry by making everything more reactable, and there are also the janky interactions where it gets you free hits as well. It's also always going to be helpful in parry trades, since your opponent's hits land later, which pretty much makes it almost as if they have a slower swing speed weapon. It might take some time to get used to, but I do recommend at least trying out using ping compensation for a little while and seeing how it goes for you. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you've tried out using ping compensation and whether or not you like using it. I also just got a new PC, so I'll probably start streaming once my new mic arrives, so definitely look out for that. See you in the next one.